right, everyone. So my name is Michelle Prizer. I'm a 7th grade civics teacher over at Southwest Middle School. And today we are going to be learning about using quizzes during distance learning, but also about how to use quizzes in the classroom when we go back. And before we get started, I'm going to do a quick poll just to get an idea of how you have used quizzes in the past, if you've even used it at all. So give me 1 second. Okay, so you should see a poll at the bottom right corner. If you can go ahead and put in your answer, let me know if you've used quizzes at all. You've used it live only, used a homework code only. You've used it both live or homework, or you've never even used at all. This will give me a good idea of who I'm talking to, and then also how to go over it. Although I will cover everything. All right. So it looks like we have a great mix. About half of you have used it both ways, and half of you have never used it at all. So that's great. So I'm going to go over this with all of you. I'm going to go over everything and hopefully answer any questions you might have. And feel free to write any questions you have during the whole session in the public chat room. And I'll try to cover everything and answer whatever questions you might have. So at this time, hopefully you've gone to joinmyquiz.com and put in the code 857-813. If you haven't, if you can go ahead and do that now, so you can do this quick Quizzizz live, so you can get an idea of what it's like. And I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So if you haven't done it yet, you'll still be able to join. I did post the link and the code in the chat room. Plus you will have the code on the website when we get started. So give me 1 second to get this started. I am going to turn the sound off. And you can click the button over there to show the top 5. And you'll see you have an accuracy bar. Now keep in mind, if you've never done quizzes before, which was about half of you, some of these questions might be difficult, but I did that on purpose, just so you can learn a little bit. We still have 2 more of you working on this. Once you're done, I'm going to go over some things. And if you're finished, go ahead and tell me in the chat what you thought. So it shouldn't have ended. So basically, give me 1 second and I will go over this with you. All right, great. You loved it. Smooth experience. Awesome. All right, so basically that's how the students feel. And what's nice about Quizzizz versus doing something like maybe Kahoot Live is that the students get the questions at their own pace. They get it individually. They get it on their own computer screen. So they get to go and have it right then and there for themselves, as you saw. You didn't have to have the questions on my computer screen. If we were in the classroom, it wouldn't have had to be on the smart board. So you got it at your own pace and could do it at your own time. I don't know if you saw, but there's a button that says read aloud, and so they could have had the questions read to them, which is really great. There's the show the top 5 on the leaderboard. The students love that because it adds some competition and makes it fun for them. You can also go here to questions when it's up on the board, or at the end, you can hit questions and say sort by accuracy. This is something I really like to do when I'm reviewing with them. I'll put it up on the board. Maybe sometimes I'll do this either before a test, or I might do this during a bell work time, and I'll have it up on the board. And let's say it's a unit review or something like that. You won't have all green here. You might have some yellow and then some red. And if you click sort by accuracy, it will sort it with the green being the ones they got the most correct, yellow being ones some students struggled on, and red being the ones most struggled on. So I'll go ahead usually and click on the red ones. It'll bring me to those. And right then and there, I can fix the misconceptions that students are having. So right then and there, I will go over the question, go over the answer with the students, and try to fix those misconceptions. What I also like about Quizzizz is right there, if the student gets the question wrong, is it tells them the answer right there on their computer screen. And then what some of you may have had is they get a redemption question later in the end. So hopefully it fixed that misconception for them, and later they can then fix it in their redemption later. So I'm going to go ahead and exit this, but you could also download the results if you wanted. But I'm going to go ahead and exit this for now. And so what I'm going to go over with you is we're going to go over how to do it live. So that was live. So you basically could do that in the classroom, or as you just saw, you can do that through distance learning. And then you can even do it where you don't do it live. So I'm going to show you how we make a Quizzizz and then how we can do it all the different ways. So if you've never used Quizzizz before, you would have to create an account, and I usually use my school Google account to create the account and then log in with that. So what you would do to create an account, or to create a quiz, is you would go to create a quiz. So right up at the top, you have the little hamburger button right here. You would name the quiz. You would select the relevant classes. I generally choose US government because I teach civics. That's the closest relevant class, so it already knows that. So you can also choose other, or if there's other classes. Now, usually it will also give you the option of saying if you want it to be private or public. I think because recently I've been creating a couple of these, it stopped giving me that option. But anyway, so with the Quizzizz, you can choose multiple. Oh, you can't see anything? Are you looking at the big blue button screen? It should be there on your screen. If you still have open the game, go ahead and exit the game, and then look at the big blue button. Yes, you can try that too. Can you see the picture of me? Okay, I don't know, maybe you have, if you have that full screen, maybe click the button to make the image of me not full screen. Does anyone else not see the Quizzizz website that I'm showing?
It's showing on my screen.
Okay. All right, Amanda, then maybe yes, leave and come right back, or refresh, yes. Okay, all right, good. Okay, so when you're making the quizzes, you're going to have different options for your questions. Great. Okay, so I generally go with multiple choice, but you can also do checkbox. Checkbox would be like if you want them to select multiple question answers. So this is different if you've used Kahoot where you can only have them choose one answer. This you can have them choose 3 answers. So that's what checkbox is. You can do fill in the blank, poll, or open-ended, but I, again, generally do multiple choice. So I'll do an example question. All right, and you could, if you wanted, you could do an image or even audio. All right, so you can upload an MP3 or you could even record. And you have images here. You can either upload an image or if you have the link to an image, like if you went to Google and you save an image link, you could post that there. Again, that was just right here on the side. There's also a math equation if you do math. And then same here with the answers, you could do an image. All right, and you could even add another answer question or answer option if you wanted to. You would select which one is the correct answer. Again, I did multiple choice, but you can come up to the top and change that if you wanted to. Like I said, checkbox means you could do multiple answers, so they'd have to select all the answers. And I'm going to go back to multiple choice. Down here, you select how long you want to give them to answer. I usually do 30 seconds, but if you give a very long question where they're going to have to read it, because Quizzizz does let you put a pretty long question choice, or you might want to give them more time, especially if you have a class that struggles with reading, or maybe they are a younger grade group, you may want to give them some more time. And you can always change this too. After you hit save, you'll see down here, here's your question. You could edit it, duplicate it, delete it, or you could come here and change the amount of time. So you can add a new question by clicking up top here. You can also add here. The symbols mean, again, this one's multiple choice, checkbox, and then you have your other ones here. Or again, you can hit this and it will tell you right there what they mean. A lot of times I'll have very similar questions. Maybe I just change a word or two. So I like to do duplicate to make things easier on myself. And so I get the question here and you can say, let's say, and then I change the answer. And there I already have 2 questions made for me. Now this is a pretty cool option too. Let's say you're doing a unit, you're making one about your unit or vocabulary or something like that, and you want to see if other teachers have come up with questions. You can go to this button at the top called teleport. And let me show you that one more time. Up here at the top, it says teleport. Make sure it has this checkbox that says include public quizzes if you're trying to look for ones that other teachers have made. And let's say you're looking for one that's related to your unit. And you would search and you find all these quizzes related to your unit if they've been made. And then you'll find all these different questions. You can review them, see if it's something that you like, and then you can always hit add. All the ones you want, you can add to your quiz. And then you'll see they've been added to my quiz. You can also do this based on ones that you have made. So I like to make ones for review for the quarter or for the year. We're a state tested course, so a lot of times we do EOC review or quarterly review. So I like to go through the ones that I've made and pull different questions. So you can do that and uncheck include public quizzes. And again, you can see ones that you've made and pull some questions of ones that you've made. And again, add those. So you're not constantly recreating the wheel. Any questions so far? Okay, doesn't look like we have any questions. So once you're done, you can hit done. Okay, so this is where you have your options. So here you can add an image to the quiz. So if you want to put an image there, you can drag or drop, or you can paste an image link again. So you could go to Google and right click on an image, get the image link. You can select the language that the quiz is in. You can select what grades this is going to be for. They also give you the option of professional development. And then you can say if you want this to be public so other teachers can try to find your questions that you've created and help them out, or you can say that it's private, only visible to you. And there you go. So this is our quiz that we just created. Yes, there are quizzes already made, and I'll show you that as well. So if you want, so I'm going to show you this in a second, but to answer Amanda's question, so let's say you want to see if there's already a quiz already made. You don't even want to make one on your own. If you go to the main site, right here you can search for quizzes on any topic. So obviously they have some recommended to me, and it is free to sign up. Yes, it's free. It's free to make an account for you, for students. And as you saw, you don't even need to log in to play, or so for your kids to review, they don't have to make a login. You would just create a free account to make it. So as you see, like they're recommending to me, but there are so many different topics, and you could also search something. So let's see. I don't remember what I searched the other day. But so as you can see, there's different quizzes here. And let's say you really like one. You could go to it. You could save it if you want to. You can create a collection that you keep it under. So maybe you have vocabulary or whatever. I specifically have my own folders here, but you can save it under a folder. Or let's say you find one you really like, but you want to add some questions to it, maybe take a question away. You can say edit. So it duplicates it for you in the ones that you have in your account and then lets you edit it. So I've done that too. Maybe I found one that I really, really like. And so I'm just going to, but I didn't like one question, or I felt it needed a couple extra questions. This way, I don't have to create the whole thing myself. And then you can always find your quizzes right here. Again, the little hamburger button, you click on that and you have your quizzes here. It says my quizzes. So that's where you'll find it. You also have your collections here. So if you click on that, that's where you'll see your different ones. All right, so let's go back And you'll see on all, it's all the same, but so we are opening up our quiz, and now we want to have a live game like we did earlier. So when you have a live game, you would go to your quiz and you'll hit play live. Now, if you're in the classroom, you could do team mode, and this will break your students up into teams. We're not in the classroom right now, we're distance learning. So I usually keep it on classic. Just that's what you all did, was the classic mode. Before I hit continue, I scroll down to my settings. I don't assign it to anyone. I usually skip that. I allow them to have unlimited attempts. You can do name factory, which is where it creates Quizzizz generated names. This could be good for older students, middle school, high school. The only problem with this is then you don't know which student it is that's answering. And if you are going to need to provide them with some extra help, that might make it a little difficult. So this is up to you. I usually just provide some norms in the beginning. When we do this, they know they have to use their real name, and one of the things they get are incentives afterward, saying, you know, the top 3 or the top 5, they're gonna get tickets or something like that. And but I have to know their real name, otherwise how can they get a reward? And that usually keeps them using their real name. Also, if they log in with an inappropriate name, you can immediately kick them out, and they'll have to redo their name. You can decide if you want to show answers in game, answers post game, let them have those power-ups, which they really enjoy, the timer, which does a countdown timer for each question, which I had turned off. You can do the leaderboard. They love the leaderboard. It gives them some competition. They love seeing it. So I always leave that. I generally do shuffle the questions. I did not this time because I wanted them to be in a specific order. So that depends on you. I almost always shuffle the answer options. I always give them that redemption question because, again, hopefully they were able to fix the misconception. And when they go back, they're able to show that it was fixed. And it's up to you if you want to show the fun memes. You can do random, or there's some other options down here. And then either at the bottom or top, you can hit continue. And that's when the website is shown and a code is generated. So whether you're in the classroom and you have this up on your smartboard, or you have this on Big Blue Button like I am now, you can show this to them. Once you have a few students on, you can hit start. Just like you saw earlier, the code will still stay up at the top. So if they're getting on, they're having issues with their computer, they came in late, they'll still be able to join in. Any questions so far? Great. Yes, so that's what I did before. You can hit the start button. So there's a way to do a link where, so you're not doing live, and I'm going to show that next. But if you're doing live, you would want to share your screen. So I either do share tab. I don't share my whole screen. I either do share tab, or today I actually did share, I think it was window, and I had put it in its own window, in like its own window. So that way, if I open other things, you can see. But otherwise, I just do share tab. But yes, you can hit the start button just like I did earlier, and that's how I had you all being able to play and then also seeing me. So I do with my school Google account, yes. So when you do that, you would just use the same exact thing that that you would normally sign in with, yes. And it would be the same password that you would log in normally. So when your password changes periodically, it's going to it should change as well. Now you could always do a different login. You don't have to do your Google account. I don't think it matters. Now, as far as the link, so if you don't want to do it live, you want to give them this Quizzizz to practice. whenever, which is actually something that I do all the time. I'm going to show you how to do that. So I do this. We always put it at the bottom of our study guide. I will give it to them at the bottom of assignments. I will put it on the board for them to do if they're done with work early. Sometimes with stations or centers, it's something that they do when they're there for review. So there's so many different things you can do with this. So you're not doing it live, but they're still reviewing. So it's this button called Assign Homework. So here, you assign it like a homework link, basically, and you choose what date. And since we're doing distance learning, Quizzizz has extended their deadlines. I always just choose the latest date because I want them to have access as long as possible. And I also just choose the latest time. You can change the settings again. You can decide what you want your settings to be. And then you would hit continue. And so basically you would get a code. It's always the same website. It's always the same website. You would get a code. And then actually I just discovered this the other day. You can also just give them this link right here. So if you're putting it on a study guide or you're going to put it at the bottom of an assignment, you're posting it on Canvas. So what I a lot of times do is I make an assignment on Canvas and it says review games, something like that. I will just put links in there. I'll say this one's Quizzizz, Quizlet, Kahoot, different things like that. And I'll just put the link. So this link you can give to them and it already has the code. It'll take them directly to this homework game. But you can also put on your board, let's say you're doing it as a bell work, or you have on your board all the time, I have all my instructions of what they do for the day. And then it says, if you're done early, this is what you do. And it will say, go to Quizzizz, here's the code. And so I'll put the code there. Or let's say you want to do a relay and you do multiple quizzes. You could do this too. You can say, here's this code. And as soon as they're done with that one, they bring it back to you and you give them another code, because you can have multiple homework codes, multiple quizzes. So if you want to do something like that, like a Quizzizz relay, again, if you're doing centers, you can have it where you have different codes there, where you say, you know, do these three or pick one of these three. So there's so many different options. So you could either do the codes or you can give them the link if you're going to put it in Canvas somewhere. So the nice thing with the link, it can create they will see the leaderboard on there as well. So any students that do the quizzes there, they will get that leaderboard. You will get a report. And so what you would do again, you would click the little hamburger button. You would go into reports. And this is where you would see all the ones that you've assigned, where you see your live ones. So you would see your assigned. This is where you could extend the deadline if you needed to. This is where you could get the code again if you forgot it, or the link. But then you should be able to access the reports as well. But we obviously haven't had anyone. I should have their, let's see. It's like here, you can see it tells me how a student did. Now, let's say that you don't want your students to necessarily see how other students did. Maybe you just want them to practice. Maybe you don't want them to be on a leaderboard. That's completely fine too. There's another link you could give them. So right here, there's this practice, and you can share the practice link. And the nice thing with that one, you don't even have to put a deadline. So if you don't even want to create a deadline, a homework deadline, this might even be better too. You just won't have any kind of report or anything. But if that's fine with you and you just want them to practice, this might even be better. You can hit share practice link. You would copy the link. And so I'm going to show you what this looks like. So this is the practice link. So if you give your students the practice link, they could play. They can challenge their friends, which is kind of neat. or they can do flashcards. So this is actually pretty cool, these digital flashcards. So this is just another way for them to review. They don't have to just do the quiz. They can do these digital flashcards. So if it's vocabulary, this might even be a really great way with the vocabulary. So they would just hit start. And so it gives them this, and they would hit flip. And if they got it right, they could hit got it, or they could say needs review. Again, and they can say got it or needs review. And up here, it tells them what the accuracy is. Any questions so far? So again, this would be the flashcards that they would access through the practice link. So that's just another one of the links you could give out. If you don't want to do the homework link, you can post that in Canvas. It does not link to Skyward, anything like that. Neither of the links will link to Skyward. One suggestion, because I've had many teachers ask me that, one suggestion that I've made if you wanted to do give them credit in Skyward or something is maybe do an assignment and have it where they have to submit a text entry, and then they say that they completed it or tell you what their score was, or maybe tell you how many times they did it. Also, for the quiz, I guess here they would set their own if they want to have a timer, read out loud, memes, or power-ups. Actually, okay, that was just to put onto Canvas. I was going to say that did show Canvas. All right, let me just make sure. Okay, practicing. All right, any other questions with those? And then again, you would just come up here to the top to see what your quizzes are. You would say my quizzes. You would be able to see all the quizzes that you have created. You can share with other teachers. So if you create a quiz, you can always click the share button here and either send it to their email. You can click other share options and say copy URL. Or even sometimes I just come up to the top and I click on the link and I copy that and paste it into an email. So we usually, our PLC will make one and share it with our whole team. And again, if you don't like it or there's something that needs to be changed, you can always hit the edit button and fix it. And you can have so many questions. We've had quizzes that are over 100 questions. We like to have different ones for EOC review, end of quarter review, things like that. Let me see. So the only other thing that I was planning to quickly go over with you is Quizzizz did just start offering certification. So if you have been using Quizzizz and it's something that you might want to do is a free certification with Quizzizz. It takes maybe an hour, just under an hour. It's basically just a couple quizzes they make you do to show that you understand how Quizzizz works. Or if maybe you didn't know how to use Quizzizz, use it a couple times and decide you want to do it. This is the link. Also, Quizzizz had put out some information about how they can help you during distance learning. So if it's something I maybe didn't cover, hopefully I did. Here's some more information. And then if there's something you still have a question on, I'm here to answer any questions you have. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my email address. So please feel free to reach out to me with any questions you might have. Otherwise, are there any other questions I can try to answer here for you? How do you feel? Do you think you're going to use it? Did you learn something new today? Please let me know. Great. I always like seeing that somebody's going to try to use it. Wonderful. Great. Yeah, and the students love it. They always love games where there's a little bit of competition, but what's nice about this is everyone gets to do it in their own speed and their own time. Everyone reads differently, and they can use the read aloud feature, which is really nice. Yes, Mary. So Mary Margaret, yes. So there is a database of quizzes and subjects already provided if you would like to do that. Let me show you really quick. So you can either create your own, or when you are on the main website, you can search here. So you'll find even on the front page, so if there's one similar to, if you've been making certain ones, it might suggest some to you, but you will find that there's different ones here. And you can save it to your collection. If it has a bunch of questions that you really love, but you want to add more questions, you could edit it. It will save a copy in your file, and then you could add more questions. You could take questions away, basically make it your own. And you can save it to whatever collection you make. If you don't have any collections, you can create one. So if you teach like elementary and maybe you want one for math and one for science and one for language arts, you could create little collections like that too. Hopefully that answered your question. Any other questions? And if you do leave, you're just going to make sure that when you leave, you hit the log out, not the end meeting button. You can just, so you do not have, they do not have to join a class. So if you do a live session, you would click, once you're in the, I'll just show you an example. And you also don't have to add these quizzes. Like if you just want to use it and never add it to your collection, you can do that too. As you saw, I just clicked on a random one. You could assign it as homework. You can do the practice link like we talked about, or you can just hit play live. There are settings here, Mary Margaret, that you can choose. And then before you do that, you would hit continue. So if you do live, so as you're seeing right now, this would be like a live game with your students. And so it shows them the link to go to and the code to go to. But if you're going to give it as assign a homework, yes, to get the report, you would do assign homework. If you don't care about getting a report and you just want to do the, where they do the quiz and practice and have the flashcards, you could give them the share practice link. Otherwise, yes, you would do the assign homework. And so when you assign the homework, this is what will happen. After you assign it, you'll get, it's either you can give them the joinmyquiz.com link and a code, or you can hit this share link and just give them this link. And you can post this link on Canvas. Like if you wanted to create, you could either create it as a page or an external URL, or you could even just do it as an assignment in Canvas. However you like to do it on Canvas. Yes, it's very easy. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to email me. I did provide my email on there. And this also will be posted. It is being recorded. So if you need to go back, if you missed anything or don't remember anything, please feel free to watch it. Any other questions before I sign off here? And you're welcome, no problem.
Michelle, this looks like a great way to change up instruction and engage.
Yeah, it's a really great way. It's also a great way if some students finish early to give them some review. And we even did it. My students are taking a test this week, so I'm doing some live sessions with them with this, so that they can come in and try to do some live test review.
And we just had a question come in. This link will be posted. It'll probably take about an hour or so for the video to render, and then we'll get the link posted in the same place. The same link that you clicked to come to this session will have the live video connected to it.
And Clint, the ones that I've done previously, can they see those ones too already?
If you shared it with whoever was in your room, yes, or you shared it with me. I can't recall. I get a lot of them, so. But yeah, they should have already been posted.
Okay. So you might also be able to see those as well.
Oh, did you do some of this last week also? The same.
Yes.
Same tool? Okay, great.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for attending. Again, I am recording this, so this will get posted. So if you did come in late, you will be able to watch this, and there's probably some recordings from the ones last week as well. But otherwise, this one, again, it will probably take about an hour or two before it posts. But thank you so much. If you have any other questions, again, I did post my email up there. I did also post how you can become Quizzizz certified, and also some more information from Quizzizz themselves on distance learning. Thank you. Have a great day.